Hello, it is the 31st of March, you can hear my computer whizzing, and that means it is time to do some favourites. This month has been crazy, as you can probably tell, I'm in Australia, and I've had quite a bit of time with my parents to watch some shows. So that's been the main thing, but then I also read a lot of books on the flight over, so let's just sit down and chat. Let's sit down and chat about all the things I consumed this month. To begin with, I've just got one movie, which is kind of a documentary. My hair tie just fell out, but I think we can get away with it. It's fine. Maybe we just go with this. We'll find the hair tie after. So the movie or documentary is Ball Kids, which is a documentary. It's about an hour long about the ball kids in the Australian tennis. We're all big fans of the tennis, and I was always impressed by the ball kids, so it was really interesting to watch a documentary about them. And there's so much that goes on that I just had no idea about, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Next, I have got 7 TV shows. The first of which is the second season of Project Dans, which is a Dutch TV show about dancers, or like trying to find the best all-round dancer in Holland. And I just love it as a show. It's a great show. Next, I've got Carlos Alcaraz, My Way. As I already said, I like tennis, and I really like Alcaraz. And this was about his, I think, 2024 season. And yeah, it was just interesting to follow him and sort of see what's going on. Next, Lincoln Lawyer season 4. I've been watching The Lincoln Lawyer for a number of years now, I think. And I've finally had access to my Netflix again. So I watched the 4th season and I really enjoyed it. Then the next one, I've only watched 2 episodes of so far, is Adolescence. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of high praise for this TV show. And as I say, I've only watched 2 episodes, but already it's definitely a favourite. Then a silly show, which is on Amazon Prime, and I don't actually know exactly what it's called. I've just written 48 Hours with Richard Ayoade. Basically, each episode is him going to a different city, travelling with another comedian, and it's just a very light-hearted, like it's nothing interesting, but just an easy watch. Sorry, I shouldn't say nothing interesting, but like nothing groundbreaking, but just, as I say, an easy watch. Then there was a limited series called Glitter and Gold, which was about the ice skating, and I did really enjoy this, and it was really interesting to follow because it was like the year before the Olympics and seeing sort of what happened, but they then didn't do an episode of what actually happened at the Olympics. My query is, you know, the Olympics only finished like a month ago, maybe they haven't yet edited it and like it will come out, but it didn't say more episodes coming, so it just seems strange to me to like leave you on this cliffhanger of you don't really know who's won or how it went or anything like that. But I did enjoy the show. And finally, His and Hers, which was an interesting show to begin with, but it was a bit slow and I was very disappointed by the ending, and for the ending alone I would almost say it's not worth watching, but there is an element to it that's interesting. So I'm glad I saw it, but I wouldn't need to see it again. Now on to some books. I've got 6 this month. The first one was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this in a couple of days. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was such a good book. It was so gorgeous. Shush, be quiet. But it was also very sad and very cleverly written. I'm sure you've heard lots of people talk about this book already. It's about like an astronaut who is now on the ground trying to solve a problem, and there are 4 of her friends up in space, or 4 fellow astronauts who you sort of get to find out further information about their relationships as the book goes on, because it jumps back and forth in time. Most of the book is set in the past, but then every so often you get a glimpse of what's currently happening, and it just like each time you then jump back to the now, it just makes it hit that much more deeply because you know the backstory. Very well written, a very, very good book. Next, I've got 84 Charing Cross Road by Helen Hanff, which was just cute. It was just basically a compilation of letters being sent from America to London about a bookshop, or to do with a bookshop, and yeah, it was just very sweet. Then I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I think has been on my to-read list for a while, and it's quite a big book. And I really struggled through it. There were definitely some interesting moments, and you know, like the overall concept, there were things that were interesting about it, but it just felt so big and like such a struggle that it didn't feel like it justified those few moments that were interesting to me. It was also an audiobook, and maybe I didn't like the narrator, I don't know, or the production even, but yeah, it was a struggle for me, but I've heard lots of people recommend it, so, you know, don't just take my word on it. Next, I read The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. This was quite interesting because it was set in China, and it was about a Chinese farmer. So yeah, it was a little bit, I would say, almost cute. It was definitely interesting. There was quite a bit of like what I would figure to be misogyny, but then like I do think that's true to the story and true to the time, but it's just hard to read, to be honest. But yeah, it was very interesting to read, like from that perspective, because that's not something I read very much of. Then I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Again, I love Emily Henry. I really enjoyed this. There was a really good balance of like the romance, because she is a romance writer, but then also there was this like discovery of a story, which was also very interesting. And that kind of reminded me a little bit of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo, which is actually by Taylor Jenkins Reid. They have this way of making you care about like this story of a celebrity who is not a real person. Like, it's very cleverly done. Like, they're a real person in the book, but not in real life. And it just like, it discusses celebrity culture. And as I say, it's got that romance elements as well. The only thing, I did have a slight issue with one of the romance subplots. I won't go into details on it, but I didn't love it. But it was a cute book. I enjoyed reading it. I had a good time. So yeah, overall good. And then finally, I read Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil by Melina Marchetta. Now, before I talk about how I actually felt, this is the book that I read sort of when I was on my last stretch of the plane journey, and so I was quite tired, and also a lot of the times I've been reading it has been at night, like in the last half hour or so before I've gone to bed, and so again, being quite tired, like almost falling asleep, and I don't think that's the book's fault. I think that's just my own fault and the jet lag and whatever else, so just bear that in mind with what I'm about to tell you. I did think it was a good book. I just think it would be a lot better if I was more focused on it, and I just really feel like I wasn't. I feel like I missed a lot of details, and I don't think that's the book's fault. I feel like it probably would be a book I really enjoy, but yeah, just because I was so tired while reading it, I think I didn't get the full experience. Okay, then I've got 4 shows, the first of which is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. This was good. I really enjoyed it. I vlogged my experience, and Wayne and I think, had some thoughts after that I shared as well. Yeah, overall I did enjoy it, but it wasn't the most perfect show, but I did enjoy it. Then I went to see Yentl, which was very different to what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be like the movie, which I haven't seen, but at least a musical. But no, it was a play, and I think it had diverted quite a bit from the movie because it was based off the original text. And it was very cleverly done, very well done. The actors were great. I just felt like it leaned a little bit too much, I guess, into like the sexual aspect of it, which I didn't enjoy as much, but overall it was a good piece of theatre, and I'm very glad I saw it. Then I went to the ballet and saw The Great Gatsby, which I did really enjoy, and it wasn't just like classical ballet as you expect it to be. There was some talking through it, and there was some other styles of dance as well through it, so I enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think it also helped that I saw the musical a little while ago, and that I've listened to the songs a lot. Be quiet! Because it did feel like I could follow the plot a little better. I also just generally feel like the way they did it, the style they did it in, did make it more accessible to people who might not be regular ballet goers. So yeah, overall I had a really good experience. I enjoyed it. And then finally, I saw Cinderella by Rodgers and Hammerstein, which I think I've seen like one of the versions of. There's so many versions, I think. But this was a new version that I saw, and I enjoyed it. It was just sweet. Next, I've got one in beauty/fashion, and that is a bag I borrowed from my mum. I forgot to bring my little shoulder bag, or whatever it's called, to Australia. So I asked her if she had something similar, and the bag she's given me, it's a bit bigger than what I'd normally go for, but it is amazing. This is the bag. It's got loads of pockets. And this space is unbelievable. We went to the beach maybe 2 weeks ago, and I brought my water bottle, my notebook, another little like Sudoku book, my pencil case, my sunglasses, I think there was something else as well, my camera, my phone, my keys. Like, it was like, just the fact that the bottle fits in here together with a notebook and a pencil case, like, that was already game-changing for me. It's just an excellent bag. Really highly recommend. And finally, I've got one other, and that's a game, and it's called Splendor, and I was introduced to it like the first weekend I was here, and I've played it almost every week since, whether with friends or with siblings, or with parents. Like, I'm obsessed with it. It's a great game. It's so easy like to pick up, and it's such a nice game. It doesn't feel too competitive, which I like. Like there definitely is a competitive element. Everyone's playing for themselves and you are trying to win. But equally it feels like, oh, if I don't win this, you know, like it's not high stakes. And I enjoy that. So that's everything. Now every month I also finish off with a song of the month. I really struggled to pick one for this month, but I've just gone with the first one that came to mind, which took a while to think about. And it's Like a Party by Emmy, which was the Irish entry for Eurovision last year. That's everything. I hope you could hear me over the screeching of my laptop. I'm very sorry about it, but my phone is in the charger because I am going to work soon. Let me know if you have read any of these books, seen any of these TV shows, or if you have any recommendations for me for things to check out, or just any other commentary. As long as it's nice, feel free to share your opinions and your thoughts. And I'll see you all in another video very soon. Bye!